Right now, we want to update you on everything happening around the metro. Right here, we've been monitoring Twitter, and we see that Douglas County, Kansas, just in the last 4 minutes, tweeted out an update. Let me pull that up for you. And it says that the roads are snow covered this morning, moderate to heavy snowfall across the county. They have deployed all their public works crews and all of their trucks to hit the roads. You can see that a lot of these, they are very covered. You're not really going to catch a break if you're heading out in Douglas County, Kansas. Here's the issue. They say with very cold temperatures, it will take longer now for salt and sand to even work. So keep that in mind if you're heading out in that area. An update from downtown Kansas City right now, our Ride KC Transit Twitter updating us. It says a weather update as of 10 a.m., so about 30 minutes ago. 20% of transit buses have delays of 15 minutes due to the winter conditions out there on the roadways. We know that they will be keeping us up to speed on everything happening there. We know that the streetcar as well saw some delays this morning. This important information from KCK Police. It says to stay off the roads unless it's urgent. If you are involved in a non-injury accident and your car is drivable, please exchange information and walk your report into the report desk. Officers will not be responding to accidents unless there are injuries. Another thing we want to show you right here, Mayor Quinton Lucas, he is up and at 'em this morning, of course, monitoring all of the conditions from his city crews. This right here is a tweet he sent out from Kansas City, Missouri, showing that the trucks were being filled up with salt overnight. We know that they have deployed 200 heavy trucks and treated major roads overnight and continuing today. Now, we've been in contact with Mayor Quinton Lucas this morning. Both Kelly and I texted him to see if he'd want to join us on the show to see if he could update us on exactly what city crews are dealing with. And I believe we have him now. Mayor Lucas, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, good morning to you. How's everything been going for you this morning in terms of monitoring the city streets and the work that your crews are doing?
Well, you know, it's always certainly hectic, but we've been preparing for several days now. The Director of Public Works, the City Manager, met a few days ago to get ready. And as you just reported, we had crews out pre-treating yesterday, but I think the biggest challenge in Kansas City and throughout the region right now is that the storm is kind of having a changing dynamic. So, you know, you have that layer of freezing rain below on the streets. Snow is going to get on top of them. So that's why we really do encourage people to stay off the roads. Our crews are out there now, but the challenge is, of course, more snow is falling down. So we'll continue to keep working probably over the next several days.
Mayor Lucas, we saw one of the tweets from the city, and it's just amazing to see the teamwork. You have people from several different departments helping out to get these roads clear and have them safe for drivers.
Well, you know, it is amazing. Sometimes people don't really know how much goes into these storms. And don't get me wrong, I hear folks who say they need their streets cleared and that sort of thing, but there are probably thousands of people that are involved with our storm response effort. We're trying to hit every street as always. We go with the major roadways first, trying to make sure they're clear, and then those neighborhood side streets. We did a lot of pre-treatment yesterday to try to make sure that they wouldn't be too slippery either. But expect over the next 24 hours us to really focus getting the major arterials cleared, and then we'll also hit the neighborhood side streets. We're all cognizant of the fact that there's a big football game tomorrow too, so we'll try to make sure traffic everywhere throughout Kansas City is safe.
Yeah, that is on the minds of many, Mayor. One thing I wanted to talk about, we sat down just last month in December and talked about your priorities heading into your first term as mayor of Kansas City. And one of the things you said is that road crews and the treatment of our roads are a priority of yours. Talk to me this morning about, comparative to last year, what are some improvements you're focused on in terms of clearing our roads and making sure that potholes and the conditions of them don't worsen through the winter season?
Well, you know, I think right now we're realizing that we need to make sure we're hiring more staff. Last year there was an issue that we just didn't have enough folks, I think, to address a lot of these significant storms, and then, of course, the potholes that came thereafter. So that's step one, making sure we have staff, making sure we have good organization in advance. We've always certainly had folks who knew storms were coming, but I think both this storm and then the storm of several weeks back, you saw more road crews out trying to pre-treat earlier. And as I said before, although the response is never perfect, we certainly make sure that we're working to improve, we're working to be prepared for everything that's coming ahead, and frankly, that we're reacting to the storms as they're occurring as well. I mean, we've seen probably a drop in the forecast for the level of snow, which changes a bit of our strategy, but doesn't change the fact that we'll be out there for the entirety of the day.
You did a ride-along not long ago with some city crew workers who have been on the job for years. Just talk a little bit about that. Remind us how that was for you.
Well, I think it showed a few things. First of all, how tough the job is, how much tougher the job is when there are other cars on the road that are making it more difficult. That's why, we're not trying to be paternalistic, but I think that's why all of us throughout our region say if you can stay off the roads during times like this, it makes it a lot better for our crews, law enforcement, public safety folks, et cetera. And so, I learned a lot of that then. And then on the side streets, we got to see a lot of the challenges that there are a number that are narrow. And making sure we can get the right trucks to go down those streets becomes an issue sometimes as well. So I know that we have a priority of making sure folks get out there. These crews are working very long shifts, 7 to 7, and they're going to continue to do that for a while. So I have the utmost respect for everybody in our region who's out working during this storm to make sure we can keep getting around.
Yeah, Mayor, walk us through exactly a storm like this for you. You aren't in the trucks, but I imagine that you're keeping in contact with your crews. What is it that they tell you that they need during a storm like this, and what is it that you're trying to help them with?
I think the primary priority we have is making sure that we do have adequate staffing. So that requires us to use not just our Public Works Department, we'll do most of it, but there's also Parks, the Water Department, a number of others. And so it's really making sure we're doing that level of organization. Beyond that point, it's also making sure that we're working with other agencies in Kansas City, frankly, throughout the region. So MoDOT, other suburban cities, et cetera. So it's really kind of an all-hands-on-deck type thing that I think our city staff does well with. But certainly we know we are probably just in the middle or even closer to the beginning of this storm, and so we'll make sure we keep addressing it. And then the other thing is that we do stay mindful of significant events in Kansas City. I mentioned tomorrow's playoff game. We certainly have work and school on Monday, and so trying to see that we can get things cleared so that everything can continue on as regular business in our city to the extent possible.
Yeah, want to mention the Chiefs game now that we have you. We got to talk about that bet you made with Houston's mayor. He seems pretty confident, Mayor Lucas. What do you think about that? Are we going to be sending him barbecue and Boulevard? I hope you didn't buy it yet because our money's on the Chiefs.
Well, no, we will not be sending
Good deal.
that. And I think what I predict is we're going to continue to address the road situations here. We're going to have a good crowd tomorrow because people will be able to get out there. We'll have another good Chiefs win. And, I think it'll make for a good week in Kansas City. So it's already starting off, I think, somewhat well with folks, for the most part, being responsible, staying home to the extent they need to. But we'll continue to do important work over the days ahead. And I know the Chiefs will deliver tomorrow.
Okay, Mayor Lucas, we appreciate it. Before we let you go, any one last word of advice to anybody that is going to be driving in conditions like this on the Kansas City roads this morning?
If you have to, just drive slower. It's amazing, and you've all seen this too because you drove to work today, that there are some people that, for some reason are still going, faster than the posted speed limit sometimes at times like this. It's a lot easier for us to clear these roads without people in abandoned cars and car accidents, folks in ditches, et cetera. So be responsible if you have to go out. And our crews are out there. They're working hard, and I'd say just give them all a break.
That's definitely a good message to leave it on, being responsible and making sure that you're driving in these conditions under that posted speed limit.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, better safe than sorry. All right, Mayor Lucas, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll keep checking in with you throughout the day if any conditions do worsen. And